Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome everybody to another Soul Sister show today with hosts Sue and Anne. And today we have Thursday, October 15th, wonderful autumn day. Or maybe I should say actually autumn evening here in Sweden, because here it's 7 p.m. So it's dark outside this time of the year. And we are a live call-in show as usual, so give us a ring at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 213-943-3587. Just a +1 before the number. And join us, ask questions, or why not get a free mini reading live on air. So we just love to interact with you. Press 1 to talk with us live on the show if you are calling in. And I'm Anne, coming live from Stockholm, Sweden. And on today's show, we will talk about numerology. We will continue to talk because we had a few episodes, actually, basically one a month for a couple of months here. Plus, of course, as I said, we are going to take your calls for questions and mini readings live on air. And we are always a live call-in worldwide radio, broadcasting today from Stockholm, Sweden, and Arizona in the U.S. How nice. On the opposite sides of the globe. I think that's really smashing. I just love it. We have an open world no matter how we feel sometimes. And you can listen live and text chat with us during the show at scrollsofthesoul.com/live. scrollsofthesoul.com/live. Or why not give us a ring at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial a +1 before the number, and you can talk to us live on the show, ask questions, or why not get a free mini reading live on air. And if you want to talk with us live on the show, remember to press 1 so you'll be placed in queue, because if you don't do that, we don't bring in your call. We just leave you in the queue because we feel that you may not want to be live on the show. So that's important to us. And on today's show, we will talk about numerology, plus your calls for questions and mini readings live on air. And if you haven't listened to our show before, we are the show that discusses the Akashic Records, soul realignment, healing modalities, and of course, we love to talk about any and all spiritual topic. And we are always a live call-in show. So call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587 and get your spot in the queue early. You can also visit us on YouTube, and there you can find full past episodes and upcoming shows. You can't listen live on YouTube, but it's upcoming shows and full past episodes. And if you want to listen to us live without calling in, you can go to scrollsofthesoul.com/live. scrollsofthesoul.com/live. So you can listen live on the player and text chat with us in the chat room. So now let me bring on my co-host for Soul Sisters, Sue, all the way from nice Arizona. Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm good. Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Nice Arizona. Nice and
Yeah.
cool right now. It's actually very cool outside, so
That's
we're finally
nice for you, right?
finally getting into some comfortable weather. At least weather we can tolerate out here. So getting better, Susie.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And for everybody listening in, now is a great time to get your spot in the queue. Call in now at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number and press 1 if you want to talk with us live on the show. And if you'd like to connect with me and or Sue for a personal paid reading, you can find us at scrollsofthesoul.com/Sue or scrollsofthesoul.com/Anne. And of course, you can find out anything there is about the radio show and some other stuff we have on our page if you go to scrollsofthesoul.com. And once again, guys, now is a great time to get your spot in the queue. Call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number, and if you want to talk with us live on the show, press 1. And before we move on with today's show, I know that Sue always wants to remind us about last week's show.
Yes, I do. Last week we got into, we always try to bring up some type of topic when we're doing open line. And last week we were talking about reaching the light. And within the context of that, I had done some research on our Merkaba and came across some interesting information. So we have an article that we had posted up there. It was really fascinating, very strong information. It talks about dimensional, going into dimensions, higher dimensions. And it was really interesting. So we have a link up there for that. And then I had also discovered some really cool audio sounds. The reason why we're speaking about reaching the light, we were doing it in the context of like meditation. So when you meditate, these are things you see visually with the third eye. But there's ways to get there that help you see visually. And one of the recordings I found was of what the world sounds like. And it's called the Schumann resonance. And it's quite interesting. And that information, we put that up last week as well. So if you didn't get a chance to hear it, you can go into scrollsofthesoul.com/cast and listen to that show.
Yeah.
We had put links up, like I said. Oh, go ahead, Ann.
No, I just wanted to say it was really interesting, really intriguing, because sound holds frequency and energy. So sound healing, right? So sound can be very, very, very powerful. Very.
Yeah. I guess different, people can interpret what reaching the light means, for themselves. For us, it meant more about what we see when we go into that state, that meditative state. And there's different ways of doing that. So we got into that as well last week. But this article was just fascinating. I can't remember who the author was. I'm kind of looking at my notes. I don't see who the author was. But, yeah, it was a very interesting article. He talked about his ascension and how he's astro traveled, which is also quite interesting. So he can see a lot. There's a lot he could see. If you didn't get a chance to listen in, go into scrollsofthesoul.com/cast and take a listen to that show. And then this week, we You're taking on numerology this week and numbers.
Yeah, and that's really intriguing because numbers are basically very exciting, and we have a history, both of us, with numbers. I know when I started off consciously on this path because at some point, we sense things, many of us, and I know you did too. So from childhood, we have experiences, but we don't really grasp what's going on. And
Right.
It's very common also to not have anyone to talk to, someone who can actually teach you what's going on. But anyway, when I consciously started, I was literally showered in numbers all over the place, all the time, time. So it's an intriguing thing for me, actually. So, and I want to announce before we move on with the numerology, I just want to say that my beautiful dear soul sister have her birthday this month. So she's born in October, and that's absolutely wonderful. And I love you, Sue. I love the autumn, and I want you to have the happiest birthday ever in your entire life.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's very sweet. It's very sweet you say that. So what's my number? What's my number for my birthday?
I could resist, so I calculated your life path number, and the life path number basically is a little bit about, it's like a key to understanding your life's purpose and the energy that you are coming into, that you either chose to come into or you are coming into, and some tendencies and some talents and maybe some obstacles that you may run into that can be intriguing. And like the life path number usually also indicates the primary mission in life. So it outlines what you're learning, mastering, and evolving into. So basically the numbers also, numerology, it's a series of numbers from 1 to 9 usually, and then we have the master numbers, 11, 22, 33, etc. So it's very intriguing, and your life path number is a very spiritual number, the number 7. So that also is a hint that, yes, when you move on, it's like you have come over halfway, so to speak, somehow, if you can interpret it in that sense. So you are approaching a cycle. Maybe that's, I'm really not sure what I'm talking about, but my senses tells me that if you are a 7 number, maybe you are approaching to fulfill a cycle within incarnations, and if you are going to come back, which I know that you don't want to, I know.
Yeah.
And I'm just kidding. It's an ongoing joke all the time because I'm not intending to come back either.
Yeah.
So hey,
I agree.
there we said it. And it's also within, the years of life. We have these cycles, 1 to 9. So every year basically also, but that's a different story, has a number. Even if your life path number is number 7, you will have a year that's for you a number 1 year, number 2 year, number 3 year, etc. And that's another show, right? But basically, it's a very spiritual number, and the one, as I have to say this too, because like everything else, is energies that a certain number carries, and all energies have polarities, so you can use them to your advantage or you can struggle with them. So this is also a little bit like the soul realignment. So this can give you some kind of a clue how to approach things for you. And the number 7 is someone who's a thinker, loves science, maybe a scientist, an analyst, likes to analyze things, also learning a lot, it's like an ongoing thing that you need to really grasp things. You want to know what's behind this,
Yeah.
what's behind that. Study things. Very good at expressing themselves, and that can be the written word, or it can be with your mouth, or whatever. But it's like you can express yourself, and also you have a big deal of logic. But on the other side, this number also is very strongly connected to secrets, myths, religion, all the mystery of the hidden things in life, if I can say that, about the spiritual things, and also rituals, understanding, knowledge. So everything in this sense, if you are someone who's an analyst and you run into issues sometimes, that may be that your logical mind are arguing with your mystical mind sometimes. So if you can understand that and just accept that that's a part of the energy I'm born with into this lifetime, how can I use that instead of struggling against it, resisting it, right? You can use that to your advantage. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, Sissy. Does it?
Yeah, it does. And that, that makes a lot of sense as far as me. The part that always sticks out for me is the written word, because that's something I can't tell you how many times I've stated that, that if I were to leave anything behind, or if I were to, let's say, lose everything, and the only thing I could take with me would be something where it's documented, the truth of something, the written word, the story behind something. That statement has always been something I've said. So something that shows that's evidence of the truth, I guess, is how I like to look at that. So if I were to leave anything behind for, because you go out of this world, you come in with nothing, you go out with nothing. But if you can leave something behind, it's the written word. It's what I may have written, or what I find to be truth, or what is the truth.
And it's also that I know that you have sent me handwritten letters. That's rare in these days. I really appreciate them. It's so beautiful. I don't do that very good myself. Of course, I can write, but I'm kind of don't have patience enough to sit and write nice. But it's something very beautiful. And also, I have to say something else about you. Things in your life have to have dignity, and also that you can sense that there's a kind of respect within things, even if there sometimes is a sense of, okay, I don't really agree with you, but I respect your opinion. And also, you have a little genius inside of you. You know that?
No, I didn't know that. No one thinks that they have any of that inside of that. No, really, you don't. It's not a quality you would state about yourself. So that's why I laughed when you said it.
So it's time to start to embrace that right now.
Right. I think that's just weird. You don't think about things like that, but that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is kind of cool. And actually, I didn't realize this before, so I just calculated it before we started today. And today, the 15th of October 2020, we have a master number for this day. This is excellent. We have the number 11. How do you feel about that?
Wow, that is crazy. And that's they're always strong. In fact, for today's show, specifically, speaking of master numbers, we had decided that we would look up some actors and actresses, some famous people, and use their birthdays to calculate numbers as well. And
Yes.
and one of the actors we came across has the same number, same master number 11.
Oh, wow.
As their birthday. So that's pretty interesting that the two, are together. Today's date and then what we decided that we were talking about today, one of the numbers that came out for one of the actors. The actor's name is Scott Baio, and his birthday is in September. And his calculation came out to be 11, and 11 is a master teacher. Someone who is has illumination and enlightenment. They can be really inspirational and idealistic, of course. And that's pretty powerful. And then their intuitive side, their psychic intuitive side is just especially with the master number is very strong. They can channel. But I think for this particular actor, I would definitely say he's not one who would be he would brag about that. Okay, he wouldn't. This isn't something he would put forward because he is the manly man type of man. So it's not something he would state that he has these abilities and these gifts, but he definitely possesses them. It's just something he wouldn't. I think it would be personal to him. Just watching this actor over time.
Can I chime in here and say something that I realized? It sounds like I'm really off the records all the time, but I'm not. But I didn't realize this before. I see it in front of me because I wrote it down. So there's something with number 11 here I have to announce. This is absolutely stunning. And now I understand why I work so well together with you, Sissy, because your life path number is 7 and mine is 4. So together we make out for 11.
Yep.
How about that?
That's awesome. I didn't recognize that either until I just looked down at it, and I knew exactly where you were going when you were going to say that.
Yeah. So that's absolutely fantastic. It makes total sense,
Right. For us, anyways. Okay, so getting back to Scott Baio. So he, like I said, the intuitive and psychic aspects of him, he's not very forward about. He would be, it's not something he'd be public about, and that's okay. I think because of the time in which he was born, his age now, he would have been taught that it's not something you speak publicly about, those types of gifts. So he's also, of course, being an actor, he's part of the artistic side, and he, as far as that, he also likes symbols. Believe it or not, he would be into symbology and things that are show symbols to him. He's definitely a dreamer and someone who's a revolution as well. But sometimes drugs and alcohol can come into the picture with this person as well. I think because there's so many things going on, especially on the artistic side, that and the mind is going, someone whose mind is going a lot, and you want to kind of bring down. Go ahead.
Sissy, I have a sense that this is not an excuse for anyone, but it's just something that I'm sensing is what's going on with some people. Those who are sensitive, sometimes they don't know how to cope. they don't know where to turn. And sometimes if they don't find any other solution, they chose something that's not so nice, maybe alcohol to relax or drugs or whatever.
Right.
So I think it's for people that are a little bit sensitive. It's not always like that, but some people. So it's easy kind of to distract yourself. And
Right.
I think that everybody working on this path needs to know and maybe knows already that it is not a play game all the time, and sometimes it can be very heavy, and you are really pulling on your strength sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's easy to seek something just to have some relief. If you have no people to talk to, maybe you're not really asking what's really going on, and there's a lot of things that can
Right.
be.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's not a judgment statement at all. It's just these are things that
No, I know.
It can be traits within that number. That's what comes out within that number. But I think as someone who's gifted, sometimes these things can happen with someone who's gifted. But it's not to say everyone with that master number is like that. So these are just general. It's general information that we're providing that comes out for specific numbers. Okay, so he's definitely into or is familiar with mysticism. That would be something he understands quite well. I think there is I think with the master numbers, you're always going to be speaking about someone who's a very old soul. Whenever you come out with someone who has the 11 or 22, 33, so on and so forth, you're speaking of very old soul. At least that's how I always felt about it. So there's always a lot of the things we speak of here with this number falls back very much with the artistic side. So those who are artistic are going to be enlightened. They're going to be into the mystical things. They're going to be dreamers. They're going to be intuitive and idealistic. I think that's part of being the actor. And so that's basically his number in a nutshell. So who else did I pick? Oh, I picked Dean Cain. I don't know if you remember him. I'm just going to randomly go through some people. Dean Cain played Superman. I don't know if you remember that movie. Have you seen that movie, Sissy?
No, sorry.
No? You've never seen the Superman movie?
I think maybe I have many years ago, kind of an old version or something like that. Yeah. I've seen Spider-Man. Don't laugh.
That's okay. Well, there's a couple different actors who have played, but I think he played him in the 90s, I believe. I believe it was the 90s. And his master number turned out to be number 6. He was born in July, I believe, 1966. So his master number 6, is he's someone who which is ironic because he plays this part of a protector. Okay, and that's kind of ironic because he plays in a movie as basically Superman, the protector, and he also has characteristics of someone who's a healer and nurturer. So that would make sense. He also has a great connection with children, having huge empathy and connection to just nurturing connection to children. Let's see. He also has a sympathetic quality. So we can have a lot of sympathy, empathy, things of that nature. But a strong desire to nurture and love children. Very loving with his community and unconditional love. Has balance and grace, simplicity, and sorcery. So yeah, he's quite the creative person here, and one who has that strong ability to heal, especially being that he has a lot of empathy, intuition, the provider. He has a lot of qualities that would indicate someone who wants to heal and can heal, and the unconditional love as well. Is there anybody in the chat room, by the way?
Yes, we have a question. Do you want us to just do the bottom of the hour first, and then we just start grabbing some calls and questions? And then we can continue, of course, talking about numerology.
Okay.
So, finally, it's my time. I'm just kidding you. As always. And everybody listening, thank you for your patience. And this is the bottom of the hour, and I have a few things to announce to you. If you haven't called in yet, now is a great time to get your spot in the queue. Call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number, and remember to press 1 to talk with us live on the show. And today we are talking about numerology, plus your calls as usual for questions and free mini readings live on air. If you'd like to connect with me and with Sue, you can find us at scrollsofthesoul.com/Sue and scrollsofthesoul.com/and. And we have many things there. You can have a personal paid reading from us if you wish so, because here we are only giving short versions. So if you want to find out more in depth what's coming for you or how the energies are looking around you. And you can always listen live and text chat with us during our shows at scrollsofthesoul.com/live. scrollsofthesoul.com/live. Our next upcoming show here on Scrolls of the Soul Radio is next Thursday, October 22nd, with Soul Sister Show and host Sue and Ann, and we will be talking about trauma, how to deal with it through tough times. And I think that many people may actually experience that the timing is quite tough right now, and it feels uncertain, so it's a very good thing to start figuring out how to deal with this. And we take your calls for questions and mini readings live on air as usual. We'll be on 10 a.m. Pacific in the US, 6 p.m. London in the UK, 7 p.m. Sweden, and 8 p.m. Greece in Europe. You can always keep yourself updated on our shows at scrollsofthesoul.com/upcoming. scrollsofthesoul.com/upcoming. And of course, you can visit our YouTube channel. Just search for Scrolls of the Soul Radio directly on YouTube, and you can find full past episodes and upcoming shows. And we are always live calling worldwide radio, broadcasting today from Arizona in the US and Stockholm, Sweden. Really worldwide, on opposite side of the globe almost. And you can always listen live and text chat with us during our shows, once again here at scrollsofthesoul.com/live. So join us. And if you haven't called in yet, now is a wonderful time to call in, because we really love to have you on air with us. Call in at 213-943-3587. 213-943-3587. International callers dial +1 before the number. And the most important thing of everything is, if you want to talk with us live on the show, please press 1, because otherwise we don't bring you on air out of respect, nothing else. But we just love to talk to you. And if you are in the line right now, don't be shy. Please press 1 to talk with us live on the show. Okay, Sissy, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. You brought up next show, which is the trauma show, and that one. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. That's going to be pretty interesting, and I hope we get callers on that one for sure, because I know a lot of people are having some struggles and it could very well be tough, traumatic times for them. So that ought to be an interesting show next week. Okay. So what was the question? You said there's someone in the chat room?
Yes, we have a question in the chat room, and it's Lil Fairy. Hi, Lil Fairy. Thank you so much for spending your time with us once again. We really love you, you know that. And we are doing fine, and we hope you are doing fine as well. Lil Fairy asks, Lil Fairy is saying this. Unfortunately, I'm still at the temporary job, and I'm having to set boundaries with my female coworkers, especially SB, because they are a bit overbearing. I'd be grateful for some insight, please. I'm still looking for another job and no changes in my love life. Thanks. So we're going to see what's coming up for you, Little Fairy. Sue, do you have anything already?
Well, just I didn't pull a card, so I just was doing a little bit of dowsing here. And unfortunately, this overbearing person, I wish I had some good news as far as this person. All I can say is do your best to continue doing your job as well as you do. And if you can avoid this person, do your best to avoid. This seems and looks like a lot of drama that this person thrives off of. And because of that, you're not the only one who's being targeted. That I can tell you that. There are others there as well. And this person doesn't really seem like a nice person. I'm trying to pick my words carefully. Just know that there are other people have gone through similar experiences here. Keep looking for other work. I know it's going to be available. I'm not getting a number, and that's weird because today is numerology for us. I'm not picking up a number, and I know you're having a really tough time with this particular person. Just know you're not alone in experiencing this. Others have had to experience this. Just do your best to continue doing your job and keep your head down and continue looking for other work. I'm going to actually see if I can try to get a number, and in the meantime, ask Anne if she's got anything. Anne?
Yes. So I'm just going to read what Lee Ferry said. Thank you for the feedback, Lee Ferry. This person sits in front of your desk, and you're avoiding her and just being polite with her. I think you do just fine, because I just confirm what Sue said, and this person feels like someone who has a way of trying to create drama all the time. And some people are like that. So instead of trying to just put too much attention, because she's getting your attention, even if it's not a positive attention, right? And that's basically the worst we can do. And I fully understand how challenging this is, because you have to sit with this person. But if you each and every time can try to just adjust your focus a little bit, just ignore. Try to come to the point when you just ignore her. So whatever is going on, it has nothing to do with you. Yes, she creates drama. Yes, indeed. And I don't sense that, we can't change someone else. She's not going to change if she doesn't want to herself. So the only thing you can change is you. And as long as she's winning in the sense that she's getting your attention and everybody else's attention by that. So she's gaining energy, if that makes sense. And some people do this very consciously, and most people actually don't, because they don't understand how this works. You can get someone's attention by being overly nice and polite, but you can get sometimes more attention by being rude and creating drama and behaving really bad, because you get everybody's attention, right? And it may sound weird, but it's actually how it works sometimes. Well, what I'm seeing for you is that right now, just be as you are. Try to do the things as you are doing them. Just be who you are. So if you can just do your best to avoid her and cut the cords all the time. And when I talk about cutting the cords, I ask Archangel Michael to come, and I say, please, Archangel Michael, come and help me cut the cords in all existence of time and space, now and forever, for the highest good of everybody involved. So that means that I'm not saying that I know the best for everyone else. I just know for me, and he's helping me cutting the cords, and that's it. And sometimes when we have a challenging, yes, thank you for I see what you are writing. You can change the way you engage with her, yes. And, cut the cords as many times as you feel that now I need to cut the cord. And if you need to distract yourself with something else, say, okay, I'm sorry. I have an appointment here. I need to make a phone call. I need to go to the ladies' room or, restroom or whatever. Any kind of excuse, kitchen, whatever. Or go and find something you need, like a pen or whatever, just to go away. That way you cut her off, so you don't need to be. And it may feel like walking away a little bit from the field where the fight is going on, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So you may feel a little low here, just because of that you don't sense that you fit in. So that's okay too, because I feel that there are some changes coming for the good for you, but it's not coming right now. And just do the work you do, and I feel that you will find something when the year is changing. I'm not certain. I'm not giving anything specific around that. And I feel that justice will come in some senses that you may not have thought about. And when it comes to love, I actually have the Lover's card for you. So that's in the energy too. But I sense that sometimes if you have too much focus on this lady, what she's doing to you, you may miss out. So that's another good reason. So there's love around you. I'm not seeing anyone specific, but there is someone definitely. And I see what you say. I'm very happy. Yes, ask Archangel Michael to cut the cords. And I think that, yes, you probably have some issues. And you don't feel that you fit. Yeah, I know. I've been feeling the same way sometimes in my life too. But resisting it is not the key to get out of there. Try to just say to yourself, okay, I'm here right now. This is what I have right now. So I can actually embrace that I have this right now. That's one of the ways that you can settle the energies and open up for things. So that was a really long reading. Sorry for that. I hope it made sense. And Sue, do you have anything more?
Yeah, you talked about the new year. That's about when I'm seeing the beginning, the new, the start of something. The start of something new is coming. So it's going to be after from 2021 that it's going to come in as far as work, because I asked questions specifically about a new job, and I kept seeing that it was sometime in January. So yeah, and as far as this person, is this coworker in any way above her? So I'm curious, is there not that she is a supervisor, but does she have more time in there, and does she act as if she is basically your boss when she's not? Because I'm getting someone who has that type of energy, that's like a boss energy, but without um, the finances to go with it. But I think because it's someone who might have been there for quite a while and has mastered a certain skill, they have this. They come off as being the boss or a boss when they're not a boss. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's why it feels tougher. It feels tougher on her. But you need to take back your own power here as well. Anne is right.
Yes.
And you can do that by not feeding into her stuff and politely say, okay, backing away from something. I know it's not always easy. We might have to work close with people. We don't have to share things that people will use against us later. So be really choosy about what it is you share with her too, so you're not targeted later from this person, and she doesn't use personal information to create stories or drama or things of that nature. I know it's not easy, especially if you're in close proximity. It's not always easy to do.
I have to admit for myself, sometimes in my life, I really felt like I need to build up a brick wall, invisible brick wall. Sometimes.
Yeah. And when you work with personalities that are different from yours, it's not always easy.
No, it's not. And
So.
And it's something also to learn to just like you said, so to not to be overly open, and that can be a challenge for some of us because I have been a little bit of that person in my past. But on one hand, I felt that, okay, this is who I am. I don't want anyone else to change me. But on the other hand, you think that, okay, but I need to understand how the energies are working. So also I'm raised with, you have to tell everything like it is, meaning that you have to tell everybody everything. But that's not good. That's not good.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes silence is very good, actually.
Yeah, right. It's just that I know that this person can feed off of a lot of things she may perceive as negative. It's an energy she feeds off of, so it creates a drama. And it's not easy working with someone who is full of drama, especially when you feel out of place, and that's completely understandable. And like Anne says, reach out for help. Ask Archangel Michael to help you cut cords from this person.
Yes.
Even if it's somebody you have to communicate with. It's all about what you choose to communicate to. That's important. So, you don't have to share everything about yourself with someone. Things that are personal don't need to be stated. She's definitely the type of person, or this is the type of person who feels like they would manipulate that information. So it's okay to protect yourself against that.
Yes, it is. And also, sometimes I know when I do this every day, at least one time a day. I mean, the cord cutting thing. But I also practice my spiritual hygiene. And we have been talking about that before. And sometimes when you are in an environment, you because you can't change others, and you feel that there are kind of energetic cords created towards you, because that can happen. And don't fear, but keep on cord cutting. And sometimes you have to do this maybe 50 times in a day. And if you have a specific situation, it's a good practice to actually do it as many times you feel a day. It can be one time or 100. It doesn't matter how many times you feel, because it's very fast process. You just state what we stated before, like, please, Archangel Michael, come, help me cut the cords in all existence of time and space, now and forever, for the highest good of everyone involved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's it. And sometimes you can actually sense that there's cord cutting. What can happen is also important to know. Do this for 3 weeks, as it takes 3 weeks for the energies to settle. So it's a very good practice when you have a situation, right, with someone. And people usually sense this even if they can't put their finger on it. So what can happen is that sometimes the situation can feel to worsen a little bit at first. Don't fear that. See that as a wonderful sign that your cord cutting is actually working, right? Because we tend to kind of despair sometimes, and we say that, okay, no, I'm not going to do. I see everything getting worse. It can, but it's going to change, and the pendulum is going to swing towards the other side. That always happens. So just keep it up. I don't know if that makes sense.
You know, and another thing that could be done here, just as a form of protection, if you want to, you know, block those energies. Okay, so you can just imagine while you're asking for assistance to cut cords. Imagine that you're in a protective bubble, so to speak, or you're in underneath a bell. Okay, a lot of people use a huge bell, and that they are also ask for protection, ask Archangel Michael to help protect you against energies that are negative, because, you know, she puts out a lot of negative vibration, and it can affect you, being that you are sensitive. I think we're pretty well aware that you are, because we've been speaking to you for quite a while, little fairy. And so having protection up and asking for assistance is only going to benefit you. And believe me, what you're going to find is when you do that is that these energies aren't going to affect you like they have been. When you're sensitive to this, when you're sensitive to those who are putting out negative information or negative energies, it's going to feel really oppressive. So if you imagine a wall of protection, or that you're in something physical, such as a bell, so to speak, it would be like a large bell over you, and that is your protection. And you ask for God's light with this as well, and that you be protected always from energies that aren't conducive to your divinity. I guess that was the point I was looking for. So it's something as simple as that you can do as well, besides cutting cords. And even if it's not Archangel Michael, it could be any one of your own guides, your own teachers and angels. You know, you can ask for your own personal angels to help you cut cords and help you protect as well. So it's another way of doing it, and putting up that barrier against those energies that I know you're feeling.
Yes, Sissy, I just remember that you said something. You use a very short terminology sometimes. Clear, delete, and I don't remember how you say it. What do you say?
Oh, God. Oh, it's been a while. Thanks for bringing that up. Clean, clear, and delete. Clean, clear, and delete. I believe it was something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, and it could be something, you state that within your own energy you're created in your own mind. And it could be something as simple as stating that. Clear, clean, delete. So, and you're just asking for assistance, putting up this barrier between you and this person. And believe me, over time this works. And that energy gets felt. That person will feel that, if that makes sense. Just like you're feeling their energy. They're gonna feel that energy from you as well. So it doesn't hurt for you to do that. So that's just another idea. I hope that helps. Did she answer
Yeah,
back at all?
I hope so too. Yes,
Okay.
she wrote a lot. I think it's better for you to read.
No.
So, but I, so it's actually I'm going to put up the cord cutting practice and also clean, clear, delete, as you said, Sissy, because that's
Yeah.
very nice too, and that can be used anytime you may feel that okay, what did I just say? Because it happens. If you are very talkative, for instance, sometimes you just say, "Did I say that?" Okay, clean, clear, delete.
Right. Right. Yeah. Right. And I'm just reading through. I'm reading through Little Fairy. You said, yeah, she acts very much like a boss because she's been there for a long time. Right. Yeah. This is exactly what I'm seeing. And you taking back your own power. It's very important you do that. So just the small things Ann and I are suggesting. Believe me, when we tell you this, you gain that sense of your own power back when you do that. Be consistent with it, though. It's a process, like Ann said, and usually 21 days. If you're consistent every day with either imagining you're cutting the cords and asking for assistance, with Archangel Michael to do that, or some grounding work with some protection, so you're asking for protection, and as well as the clean, clear, and delete. You say those types of things, you'll start to feel the energy shift. And she'll sense something too, which I believe she'll probably start to back off a little bit. So, good. Okay, yeah, I'm just reading back some of the stuff you were saying. Yes, indeed. She seems angry about it, right? Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And I just want to chime in a little bit because many times when you are close to someone, you are, even if you don't love your coworkers, you are close to them because you see them on a regular basis most often, right? So you have to interact with them. If you're sitting next to them, yeah, that can be tricky. But you can see they usually actually sense that there's something going on, but just don't pay attention to that. Keep on doing your practice and try to come to the point also. Forgiveness is a good thing to practice at the same time. It doesn't mean you accept. It just means that, okay, I forgive everything that this person may have done to me consciously or unconsciously in all existence of time and space, now and forever.
Yeah.
I ask for forgiveness for the same thing. Because sometimes we may have annoyed someone without realizing it. So we just want to have everything clear and loving, because love is the energy that actually can conquer everything, as I'm sensing it, right?
Right. Yeah, no one says it's easy to feel that way at times. We completely understand that. It's not always easy, but it's important to start to practice some very small things. We're not saying there's a lot you need to do, and there'll just be a shift in energy, as far as just these simple things Ann had put up in the chat. It'll go a long way,
Yeah.
believe us. So,
yes,
I hope that helps.
Actually,
we were kind of long-winded on that. I hope that helps, Little Fairy.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Little Fairy, for entrusting us. Actually, we really appreciate you, and so it feels good to have chatted a long time with you today. Really, like more in depth, even if we didn't talk live on the show, but we are kind of live in the chat room, right?
Right.
Nice.
Yep.
Love it.
Okay. No phone calls today. Busy, quiet day. That's unusual. That's okay.
Yeah, that's very unusual, but anyway. Yes, go ahead,
I'll proceed with a couple more of our numbers with some actors that I picked out. There's one jumping out specifically, and the reason I'm going to say that is because his number is the same as mine, which is Mel Gibson. Now, this one I noticed has say his is 7, and his birthday is, it looks like it's in January, 1956.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we can just apply everything you said about me to Mel Gibson.
Okay, thank you. That's cheating.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I just love to joke with you. I love to joke.
If you go back and just listen to the early part of the show, you'll hear the explanation for number 7. I think I'm good to go now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to cough a little.
Go ahead.
So let me
tell us about
number.
Gibson.
Okay, so he is a thinker, of course. So I'll go into that. He loves science and learning. Right? Am I correct on that? Yep.
Yeah.
Loves science
absolutely.
and learning. Education is important to him. He studied a lot, and you can tell watching a lot of movies he's produced over the years. He had to have studied, done a lot of historic movies, even The Passion of the Christ. You know, that in itself is history. And so studying and education was always a huge part of, and it's a huge part of his work. And it comes out definitely in his films. He's a logical thinker, of course. But, you know, he could have some secrets as well. And he loves the myth and religion. Religion is important, which he's done a lot of things that have a hint of his own religion in movies that he's done in the past, ones that he specifically produced, and as well as I think he was even in a few of them where it had a religious tone to him. He's not definitely not knowledgeable, and has the dignity, like you said about me, and of course the genius side to him. Very much has that genius part, and that comes out.
So you see,
again.
Yes. Yeah. So you see, you're a genius too, right?
Yeah. I like to be a genius with his type of money. But his, and he even has that artistic side to him. But I think because he always has to explain something. A lot of his movies explain a big part of who he is and what his thinking is, even if it comes out in an artistic form. He's done historical movies about the Civil War, but there's a piece of him that feels very strongly connected to that. Again, with The Passion of the Christ, he has that strong religious connection. So I think a lot of things he does is based on his religious belief, even if it doesn't, it isn't about religion, so to speak. He'll have a hint of religion in something that he does. There's always some type of religion there. So I think I'll pick one more, and then we can bring it to a close. Okay.
Absolutely. Can I chime in before? Just mentioning something that may make sense to people now that they heard us here. When it comes, I just want to talk about my own number. That's number 4. So, number 4s are the ones that have the structure, the builders. You can think of it as a square, like starting to build the house, right? So you have the foundation also, stability, wanting justice, the earth, seeing progress, practical. And I can really tell that I dislike very much unpractical things. I don't like them. I try to manage the way to make them become practical. So if anyone comes to disturb that, that's a challenge for me.
Well, I think
So
it's
it's
just
kind of funny.
with the practical
Yeah.
part of you,
Uh,
that's the
yeah.
common sense part. That's the part that comes in and says, okay, it's just common sense to do this. So it turns out that it becomes something practical,
Yeah.
and a lot of people
But
don't have that anymore, Sissy. It's like that's missing.
no, I know, and so that's why I feel like I was born in the 1800s and I don't fit in here, right? Thank you.
Right.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. But I have another thing with the 4 number. It's very common to have this, to like ordering things. I very much also have a real challenge when things are in disorder in my sense, and they may be in an order in someone else's sense. But if you have a vision of that work desk where you have everything in order, so I usually put everything in place before I start, so I know where I have all my stuff. Because if it's, I can work wonders and I can work very fast. But if I don't have my things functioning and in the manner I want them, and someone else used my desk before me, and there's a lot of stuff that are not belonging there, it's a disorder, I have a hard time coping. So that's kind of funny. And also, it's the number who carries the energies of conviction. So I'm very adaptable. If you can convince me of something, I just don't buy it like that. You have to show me that it's something better than my opinion. Right?
Oh, yeah. Well, besides having conviction, there's a lot of tradition as well. And I don't mean how to explain that? Okay, in the context of, there was this specific, something that jumped in practicality, okay? So in being someone who's practical because your common sense comes into play, it also feels and seems like it's also very traditional too. Just the things that you hold that are common sense, that you would think someone else carries that same common sense. And I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but in the context of that, there's tradition in that as well. And I think anyone, with the practical sense knows that there are those that preceded us that had kind of way of doing things too that were practical, and it might look like it's very much traditional. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
sometimes because I buy that, you see, because I can hold on to ways of doing things in a traditional way because they did work. So if you're going to bring in something new to me, show me that it's working better. Otherwise, I just miss it. Okay?
Right. Yeah. Like for, that would be, I find that traditional kind of interesting too, because you had brought up earlier about writing letters, that you have a couple letters that I wrote. And that to me is considered traditional, I guess. Because nowadays everybody types something, they don't handwrite something. I'm still old-fashioned, I guess, in the sense that feels more natural to me, to write something out physically, because I've always done it that way.
I have to admit that I adapted to the modern way because it takes too much time to handwrite something.
And for me, because I'm not one who can type quickly like you, for me it feels quick, and it feels fast, it feels slower to type than it does for me to handwrite. It actually feels like I can get something out quicker if I wrote it.
Yeah.
I never took typing either.
But maybe that because we are not only one set of energies, we are so many, right? And in astrology, I'm a Gemini. That's fast as the wind, right?
Oh, yeah. All those personalities, they're moving around at one time. So you have a lot of energy you have to get out of your system, so to speak. That's the Gemini for you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So now, let's proceed with the last person you want to talk about today.
So the last person I picked is James Woods, he's an older actor. He was born in April of 1947. You know what, Sissy? I didn't even look to see the final number. I'm going to have to pick somebody else. Because James Wood came out as a 7, too. We don't need to do 7, 3 sevens in a row.
No,
so let me just
pick someone else.
Pick Chuck Norris, actually. Chuck Norris is also an older actor. Jeez. And he was born in March 1940, and his number turns out to be 9. You know, some of these numbers seem kind of strange, because 9 isn't something you see a lot. So when that came up, that seems strange to see it, We don't always see that number a lot. Okay, so number 9. That's someone who is a humanitarian, very charitable, feels the duty or a calling to something, towards a mission, especially. They have they also can feel obligations to things, but experience hardships at the same time. They have the high self and many spiritual guides. Mysticism and faith is important to them, and they are considered an angel on earth. Faith in mankind is very much a part of their personality. They are optimistic people, but can, however, suffer a lot due to self-sacrifice. So that's something they need to balance out, and that's not always easy. Because a lot of the trait of 9 is about giving, giving to someone else, feeling that need for duty, being, part of a mission or an obligation. And, that can cause hardship for someone. So they're very self-sacrificing. Yeah. So, and at the same time, there's a lot of divine wisdom. So there's a lot of good stuff swirling around with the 9, because they're very giving people and feel very much about sticking to, if they say something and they make a date to do something and to help assist someone, there's an obligation to that, and they tend to feel strongly towards that obligation, just because that's just built in their character. So 9 is very much about helping others, but they can experience, like I said, a lot of hardship. So, and mysticism is also another one. They very much are guided too.
And it's also kind of, if you think of the numbers by themselves from 1 to 9, 1 is the beginning, and 9 is where you end up things and you close up things, right? So it's kind of fulfilling, closing the circle, coming the whole way, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, right. Because remember now, with the numbers specifically, you don't have a number 10. So, you go from 1 to 9, and then you go into the master numbers. So, kind of reach on the single digits, that's the high number you can go, number 9, before you get into the master numbers. So yeah, that was Chuck Norris. And with that, wow, Sissy, we talked a lot today, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Both of us, not only me. I'm just kidding, as usual. The jokes what am I going to do? I just had to joke.
Yeah, right.
Because it, having a laughter. We talked about this many times too. That it raises the vibration basically. So we need to laugh. We need to be a little bit fun, stupid sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like children.
And yes, I'm a big baby. And thank you so much for listening to us today and interacting with us. And thank you, Lily Fairy, especially. I know that we took your questions really today, and we are happy if we can interact with you. So happy. Thank you so much, and I hope that things will look different for you. I feel a little because it's like things, and it's remember it's a process until we see. Keep on the cord cutting for at least. And so we have been talking about numerology, and we brought up ourselves just to put ourselves out there. And of course, we had some life path numbers of famous people too, and that was really interesting. And we have been taking calls for questions. I mean, readings, but we didn't actually have a, so I shouldn't have said that. That's also funny. Sorry for that. But next upcoming show here on Scrolls of the Soul is next Thursday, October 22nd, with Soul Sister Show and host Sue and myself, Anne, and we will be talking about trauma, how we deal through tough times, and don't hesitate to call in and talk to us. Share your story or just get a free mini reading or whatever you want. And because we are going to take your calls for questions and free things live on air as usual, we'll be on 10 a.m. Pacific. And in the US, 6 p.m. London, 7 p.m. Sweden, and 8 p.m. Greece in Europe. And you can always listen to replays of all our shows anytime at scrollsofthesoul.com/past. Scrollsofthesoul.com/. Of course, you can go to YouTube, and usually within 24 hours, usually way before that, we have this latest episode up, full episode you can listen to, and there are some information in the video as well as read while you are listening. And you can also keep updated on our shows at scrollsofthesoul.com/upcoming. scrollsofthesoul.com/upcoming. And remember that you can always listen live and text chat with us during this at scrollsofthesoul.com/live. scrollsofthesoul.com/live. And if you'd like to connect with me and our personal paid reading, you can find us at scrollsofthesoul.com/Sue or scrollsofthesoul.com/Anne. And please join us on our next show. And we'll be back next Thursday, October 22nd, with Soul Sister Show and host Sue and myself, Anne, talking about trauma, how to deal with it through tough times. Your calls for questions and mini readings live on air. Sue, do you have anything you want to tell the listeners before the show ends?
Thank you, of course, always. Little Fairy, thank you for entrusting us with your questions. We always appreciate it. And just a shout out to my mom. And to watch over you all night long.
Yes, and I send love, light, peace, and joy to all. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.